sometimes when reporting, it becomes so much of us that people may not know where directly they should report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we have tortured those who are already tortured, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, a child who have been abused in a family by step-brothers, by step-father, Honorable Speaker, or step-mother, Honorable Speaker, they don't know where to report. They go to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, they are told this is a gender issue. They will move from gender issue, they will be told since the child may be a person with disability, they should go and report in the National Council for Persons with Disability. Honorable Speaker, we torture those who are already been tortured, Honorable Speaker. Some of these infringement of human rights, Honorable Speaker, in our tradition are some issues that you don't want to bring them out to the open, Honorable Speaker. When you are supposed to report to 3 commissions, 4 commissions, Honorable Speaker, you better hide the information, Honorable Speaker, because you did not want this information, because some of them, like gender-based violence, Honorable Speaker, sexual abuses, Honorable Speaker, there are issues that are private, and you need confidentiality, Honorable Speaker, and privacy, Honorable Speaker. But how do you get confidentiality and privacy when you have to report to 3 or 4 commissions, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, again, when it comes to the issue of expenditure, Honorable Speaker, we are spending so much dealing with the same issue, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I really support the merger of the National Gender and Equality Commission and the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, so that they become the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission. Otherwise, it will be very expensive to maintain them. Some of us in the disability movement, Honorable Speaker, were saying we also need our own commission, the National Disability Commission of Kenya. I heard in the BBI that they wanted the Youth Commission of Kenya. Honorable, how many commission can we have? Older persons will also demand their own commission, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, children will need their own commission, Honorable Speaker. How many commission will we have in this country? And are we ready to support financially all these commissions, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kioni committee have just given us away, because there are so many other, even state cooperation, leave alone the commissions, that we need to merge, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, see the issue of the National Council for Persons with Disability and the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, and APDK, Honorable Speaker, all of them dealing with the same person called a person with disability, and spending like the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya is through an act of parliament. The National Council for Persons with Disability is through an act of parliament, Honorable Speaker. And they all purport to be assisting persons with disability, and their state corporation, they have board members, they have board of trustees, Honorable Speaker, spending a lot of money for nothing. We spend in this country almost 60% in administration. Little goes to the intended beneficiaries, Honorable Speaker. That is why, if you find the National Gender and Equality Commission, they are telling us they need more funds. Why? They don't have offices in every constituency. How can they have offices in every constituency if we have to have 10 commissions dealing with the same issue? Can we have 10 offices in every constituency dealing with the same issue? But when we merge them, the resources will become more. They can be able to have offices in every constituency without any additional fund, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and I support Honorable Kioni, Honorable Speaker, because he said we will have a transition. In his bill, we'll have a transition. We will have the National Gender and Equality Commission chairperson becoming a vice chair, and the chair of the Kenya National Human Rights Commission becoming the chair of the now new Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this will be able to address all our issues. We will be very comfortable reporting our issues as persons with disability to the Kenya National Human Rights. Human, you know, I'm a human being created in the image and likeness of God, and Equality Commission. But I'm not comfortable as a person with disability to report my issues as a person with disability to National Gender, and Equality Commission, Honorable Speaker. I'm not comfortable, Honorable Speaker. Even I know the children are not comfortable. Older persons are not comfortable, Honorable Speaker, because the name itself betrays the function of that particular commission, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this suggestion is a suggestion that I urge this House, let us all support, let us merge this one, and let it be the beginning of cutting on our wage bill. Currently, our wage bill is way beyond 53%, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, having a wage bill of above 53% mean that this country will go into an economic meltdown, because we cannot be able to afford to maintain all these boards, Honorable Speaker, and all these commissions. Honorable Speaker, some of these commissions were created politically so that we can have soft landing spots to friends, to relatives, to even brothers, Honorable Speaker, so that when somebody, a politician, is defeated, they have a soft landing spot. If I have a girlfriend that I need her to be having an earning, they have a soft landing spot, because we have so many commissions, we have so many parastatals. Imagine a country like Kenya having more than 270 state corporations. Doing what, Honorable Speaker? There are so many state corporations dealing with droughts. There are so many state corporations, Honorable Speaker, dealing with famine. There are so many state corporations, Honorable Speaker, dealing with forest. Honorable Speaker, we need to lean up and clean our state corporation, merge them if it is possible, like the way the committee led by Honorable Kioni have shown us the way. When this House support this merger, it will save a lot of money for Kenyans, and it will be the direction that this House will take, and this House will have a legacy of cutting on the exorbitant wage bill without laying off workers and without necessarily, Honorable Speaker, reducing services that are delivered to citizens of this country. So, Honorable Speaker, I do support 100% and urge the whole House, including Honorable Fatuma Gedi, let us support this one for the sake of this country, for the sake of saving, and for the sake of even women being in the mainstream of the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission. We need those equalities as a person with disability. We need those equalities as marginalized groups. We need those equalities for those who are women, but we can all have in one house, one umbrella that will be decentralized to even ward level, to constituency level, so that it can deal with these issues once and for all. The National Gender and Equality Commission is based in Nairobi. Somebody from Turkana have to spend around 5,000 to travel to come and seek their services in Nairobi. It is not possible, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Obara Akinyi, member for Kabodo Kasipul.
Janet, what was this all about? What about it?
The Honorable Obara, you have.
Huh?
You had.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I stand to oppose. And Mr. Speaker, NGEK is the only commission that fully handle matters that affect mainly gender, but mainly women. And I believe that women issues, which are a constituency on their own, stand to be lost in this body that encompasses all those other areas. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to ask that we retain NGEK as is, and we can set other commissions that handle the matters of disability and all those other things. Mr. Speaker, there's one area that previous speaker mentioned, which I thought was a bit demeaning to the women fraternity. Mr. Speaker, there is no way that when you talk about merging and on the same breath, you are also talking about those commissions that people put their girlfriends. And I would beg that he withdraws that statement. Thank you very much. I oppose.
Let me hear the voice of the youth, the Honorable Member for Dagoretti South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And yes, I am youthful, but by any definition, I am not youth, because by the UN definition, youth is anyone up to the age of 24, and by the definition of our constitution, is anyone under 40. So I want to own the term youthful MP, but I am not youth by definition of the law. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I want to stand and support this bill by the committee. And even before I get into the flesh of this bill, I'd like to commend this committee, Mr. Chair. I think it is important for us to recognize the work done by hard-working committees, and the COIC committee is one of those very hard-working committees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have had opportunity to appear before this committee under the able leadership of the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, leading very esteemed and ranking members of this House, the Honorable Kaluma, the Honorable TJ Kajwang, and other honorable esteemed ranking members. And I do want to say that this is one of the committees that deserves a mention and a commendation in the 12th Parliament for the work that they have done in this session. Mr. Speaker, this bill is not only timely, it is even urgent, Mr. Speaker. It was urgent many years ago. The bringing together of these Article 59 commissions, Mr. Speaker, and bringing them under one roof is important business, Mr. Speaker. The new Kenyan National Human Rights and Equality Commission is a timely idea, Mr. Speaker. As we have been told here, there have been situations where Kenyans have been aggrieved, and even one homogeneous group of Kenyans has had to go to different doors, different buildings, different organizations to seek restitution and justice, while they could have gotten the same from under one roof, Mr. Speaker. On only that one count, that we can be able to handle our rights issues from one commission, Mr. Speaker, I do support. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the proliferation of commissions is not in the interest of anyone in this country, up to and including the marginalized groups in our community. The women do not benefit when we proliferate commissions, Mr. Speaker. The youth do not benefit when there is a proliferation of commissions. The marginalized people, the people living with disability. If we could get one super commission, as is being proposed here, under the Kenyan National Human Rights and Equality Commission, then we would be walking the path that the new constitution had envisioned. Mr. Speaker, there could be a few issues that can be raised on gender matters, Mr. Speaker. But we've got to remind ourselves that when we as a country were crafting the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we were all in agreement that there are some issues that will be transitional issues, that will have a sunset clause, Mr. Speaker. So we've got to accept 10 years after the promulgation of the Constitution, it is time to start retiring some of these issues that had sunset clauses, that had a timeline to them, and let us start consolidating our institutions so that we can have a thinner, leaner, more effective government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the effort to bring equality issues under one roof is the second reason why I support this bill. Mr. Speaker, as this new commission takes office, they have their work cut out for them. Mr. Speaker, this is a commission that will have to fight for its independence. They will have to elbow for their space in this country. They require their independence, Mr. Speaker, as has been envisioned by the crafters of the Constitution, because some of the offenders of human rights are actually very powerful people, very powerful institutions, very powerful entities. So this commission will have on its entry as a first order of business to stamp their authority and to also showcase their independence when they're handling very high profile cases of human rights abuses. Mr. Speaker, over 10 years, over a decade after we promulgated the Constitution, this country is still grappling with very basic rights, Mr. Speaker. I, as a city dweller, know that the Constitution does guarantee proper and quality education for all. The same Constitution guarantees water, clean, affordable drinking and domestic water. The same Constitution guarantees sufficient nutritious food for every individual in this country. Mr. Speaker, 10 years after the promulgation of this Constitution, some of these basic rights are still a pipe dream. They are still so far-fetched for some of the people who are dealing in the capital city, the biggest city in East and Central Africa. So as we talk human rights, this commission will have to start from the basics as we approach, as we go on to the more loftier aspirations of better human rights. Mr. Speaker, I did say that some of the offenders of human rights are very high ranking officials, institutions and entities. One of the biggest offenders of human rights, Mr. Speaker, is the state itself. Just in the recent history, we realize that the state has been competing with COVID in killing its own people, Mr. Speaker. The number of people who have been killed in this duration of lockdowns, in this duration of cessation of movements, in this duration of curfews, is competing with the number who have been killed by the pandemic, COVID. So the question begs, Mr. Speaker, what kind of a country is this where the state is in constant war with its own people? These are people killed by the bullet that is bought by the taxes that the common man pays, Mr. Speaker. So the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission has its work cut out for itself, Mr. Speaker. The extrajudicial killings that we witness every day in the city are an issue that should be addressed by this commission. Mr. Speaker, it is in this duration of the pandemic that we have seen untold demolitions, untold offending of human rights, where we have criminalized trade in this city. Today, Mr. Speaker, it is more dangerous to be a trader in this city than it is to be a criminal. You stand a higher chance to be shot by a stray bullet in this city if you are a small hustler, a small trader, than you are if you are a criminal. So, Mr. Speaker, where agencies like the Kenya Police Service is failing, where the judicial system is faltering, where the Commission of Administrative Justice is failing, is a gap that needs to be filled by the newly reconstituted Kenya National Human Rights and Equalities Commission if we pass this bill, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, as I have said, I am in full support of this bill. I would want to urge some of our honorable ladies who may be having a small contestation on the issue of gender to understand that the proliferation of commissions in this country does not work in their interest. In fact, it works to counter to the effort that they are trying to push. Let us mainstream their issues, the issues of women, the issues of the youth and the marginalized, the issues of the people living with disability. Rather than proliferate them, let us mainstream them so that their issues can be tackled on the high table, and that is what this bill seeks to do by bringing the Article 59 commissions under one roof, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with that, I do support. And the final issues I would like to mention is that there is a matter that I brought to this committee, Mr. Speaker, very well handled by this committee. I do pray that this House and the relevant institutions that have been mandated by this commission to take up the petition that I brought to this committee will step up to the plate and do as was prescribed by this committee on the issue of our esteemed civil servants who retire without benefits and packages, making it so dangerous to work in some of these offices that the president appoints some of the citizens to, so that we make the public service not a career killer, but a career builder. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, and I vehemently and strongly support the
The Honorable Kiaria, the sanctity to life, the sanctity of life, the right to life can never be gainsaid. Yes, so that is the ultimate. And well spoken. And you do a good job in Dagoretti South. Now I understand why you are speaking to this right to food and all this. I know that you are feeding the young ones there. It is a good thing that you are doing. Very well. The next one on my list here is the Honorable Odhiambo Akoth, member for Suba North. But I don't seem to see her. I know she would have loved to speak to this. I will give the next opportunity then to the Honorable Adagala Kahai, member for Vihiga.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, protect me from 001. Mtoto wa Kenya huyu.
You are adequately protected, my women representative. The Honorable Sankok does not mean any ill will towards you. It's just appreciating that you addressed similar colors to him. Yes, proceed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the protection. I know Sankoko is in the cold, is admiring to join me in the Amman National Congress. You are very much welcome, Honorable Sankoko. And your position nomination is guaranteed, you will get. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance to speak on this matter, on this human rights amendment bill. Mr. Speaker, I was disturbed in my thinking when a honorable member, and I think for that reason is Honorable Sankok, when he said that when these commissions are made, girlfriends and what of people are picked to head or to do those kind of things. I think that is very wrong, that when you are demeaning the women, and you should not. The women are the future. So know that a woman is your mother, a woman is your daughter, a woman is your aunt. And they are given these positions in the right manner they deserve. So do not demean women. Women have a right to be employed or to be given these slots. Thank you so much for apologizing. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to support this. More of these commissions should be put in place.
Just hold on, the Honorable Adagala. The Honorable Ali Fatuma, what is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, this is House of Record. If indeed what we're hearing from Honorable Adagala and also Honorable, I think another Honorable member mentioned about girlfriend being appointed to this position, Mr. Speaker, we cannot proceed with this matter. Honorable Sankok has to apologize or substantiate the girlfriends that he knows that were given this position, Mr. Speaker. We are offended as women and we cannot continue with this discussion, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
Yes. Apologize.
The Honorable Gede, you must know the rules. If that point had been raised when the Honorable Sankok was on his feet, then the Speaker would have dealt with it. But the Honorable Sankok? Yes, I don't think anybody appoints his girlfriend to any position in this country. People are appointed because they have qualifications.
Honorable Speaker, let me apologize because I did not actually mean to be rude to the women folk because I started by saying like Raila appointed his brother to Yala and that there are possibilities of appointing even girlfriends and boyfriends. So I do sincerely apologize and withdraw and should be expunged from the Hansard because I didn't really mean that.
That is enough. The Honorable Adagala, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that even more commissions should be put in place. Like we should have the Women Commission, we should have the Youth Commission, and even the Children Commission. These commissions should be put in place so that they can work for the people of Kenya. We don't want to see any group left behind. We want to see every section covered very well. And even the positions should be distributed in the regional, in all regions in Kenya. Because right now, keeping in mind, we have a shortage of job opportunities. Our youth are languishing in the streets. Our sons and daughters have degrees and they're just languishing in the streets. So if such commissions can be put in place so that our children can get employment, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support and thank you very much.
The Honorable Shabir, member for Kisumu East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I stand to oppose this proposal. Never has it been common sense to merge two sick institutions unless there is a common strength, unless there is synergy. These two have no synergy. They were working on different issues. You cannot consolidate. If you are saying that you're trying to consolidate because of expenses, it doesn't make sense. If you're consolidating because the two institutions are not serving the purpose for which they were initially put together by the Constitution, then you need to have some sort of report, some sort of research coming and showing us this. There is nothing. All it is that somebody somewhere wishes to restructure this particular two institutions that were part and parcel of Chapter 4 and part and parcel of the commissions that we set up. And I was in CKRC, and Honorable Kenny, I don't know whether you were there, and we took a long time trying to work out how this can be done. In 2011, with the wisdom of Parliament, these were split into three. The idea is to see which one of these three or which two of these three are not working. You cannot say because the commission must have between 3 and 9, we are now going to reduce costs by putting the commissions together. You can only put certain things together. You cannot mix oranges with lemons. Or you can, but you cannot mix oranges with apples. And I think that is basic thing. The basic reason that we went through the Constitution was the Bill of Rights, one of the best in this world. The basic reason that we went to the Constitution is we said we need to recognize the right of women and gender. There was also the issue of human rights. Human rights has been taken out of perspective. As you are saying yourself, human rights are decided by people in the Western world. For what is a human right for them is not a human right for us. Tomorrow, these boys who are burning schools, they say it's their human right. What human right? In African society, the right is the one that is earned, not the one that is given to you because some Westerners said that. But we are not undermining the question of human right. Let that happen. I was, Honorable Speaker, in Panama when this issue of the Somalis came up and the issue of them being put together in human rights. The situation was clearly out of place, and it was put with different reason to embarrass Kenya. The situation was not to say whatever the reason was security, they forgot other issues. So the issue, you cannot bring Mheshimiwa Kioni, that human rights failed because of that. Human rights failed because they have lost direction. Correct that direction. And if the Equality Commission is in the right direction, please take it there. Under the commission which was established under Section 59(4) was in Chapter 6. It's in the Bill of Rights, and it is fully implemented. Until they're fully implemented, they cannot be changed by resolution. It has to be through referendum. Article 255(1). You cannot in fact, use restructuring via administrative power that you are trying to use. There has to be more to make a form of putting these things together. So I disagree, and the amendment of the powers that you are quoting, 255.19 or 1G, is incorrect. I think the merging will erase all gains made in the promotion of gender inequality. It is giving a loss of strategic clarity and focus, and the real danger is to mainstream the main issues and the gains that we have made in gender and mix them up with human rights. They're two very different elements. And if you are wondering about costs, reduce the commissioners to 3 each. That will be better than the 9 of the vice chair of this, vice chair of that. You are introducing what is called conflicting interests in one body. And we are going to go like the Kenya Meat Commission or something else. This is going to be destroyed. You're trying to destroy something that was put together with the commission. This proposal is misconstrued, mismatched, misadvised, and is with bad intention. And I totally object to this particular merging. You must consolidate and your strength. You cannot merge your weaknesses. Consolidate your strengths, and this proposal here is not consolidating strengths. It is going through the back door, trying to alter the ideas and the visions and the mission that we had when we were in CKRC between the years 2000 and before. Where were you when we were being tear gassed? You were not there. Where were you when this was happening? You were not there. I was there. And the situation is, that is why 001 is walking around like a king. It's because we gave him that power. We gave him that recognition. And that's why he grew up. Now, I sit in the Finance Special Funds Committee. And in Special Funds, they wanted to bring a Wezo Fund, Youth Fund, Women's Fund, all together. Up to date, now 4 years, they have not been able to do a thing. What they have done is they've destroyed whatever work the Wezo Fund was doing, the Youth Fund was doing, the Women's Fund was doing. They have actually put a stop at it. For 5 years, my constituency have not had a single Wezo loan. So the situation is, this is a bad intention of trying to take this back and bring this country back to where it came from and affect the gains and reverse the gains that we've made in gender. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Shakil, this is not the chair's personal bill. This is a bill being sponsored by the committee. So don't make it look like it is the personal property of the member for Ndaragu. It is the property of the CIOC committee. The Honorable Cecil Mbarire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this bill. And Mr. Speaker, I oppose it because I have memory of where the National Gender and Equality Commission came from. Mr. Speaker, the women of Kenya were deeply involved in the constitution-making process that gave birth to the 2010 Constitution. And they were as clear as day and night that there was no other way of addressing issues affecting women in this country other than having an independent commission whose main purpose was to deal on gender matters affecting women. Now, while it makes economic sense that we should consolidate and, enjoy the economies of scale and make sure people are able to access these services closer home, the experience we are having as women in this assembly is actually that our fears were true. That even despite coming up with a gender commission, we still are having to fight in every budget cycle for more budgetary allocation to the gender commission. That explains to you how issues women are viewed by a majority of people in positions of authority, including in this House, Mr. Speaker. So when you tell us that we will even be better taken care of when we are under a bigger umbrella commission, we don't get it. Because the experience practically is that actually we are not getting what we ought to get so that the Gender Commission can perform their functions better, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the question I would want to know is who was involved in the drafting of this bill? How much public participation took place to arrive to this decision? Was there a study or a survey done, or even any form of consultative process done to understand from the women of Kenya whether they were satisfied with the commission as is, and whether they were willing for this commission to be put under an umbrella bigger commission? If that didn't happen, we are doing a disservice to the women of this country. If that didn't happen, Mr. Speaker, we must remember some of the things that were raised in court concerning any effort to amend the constitution of this country. That a few people cannot sit and out of their own, motion decide, you know what, we don't need the Gender Commission here, let us put it here, and you do not go back to the rationale and justification that was brought forth by the stakeholders that made that happen. So unless we are involved, I wish to tell the chair of ICIOC, unless you involve the women of Kenya, unless you have a document to bring to us, to show us that the Gender Commission has not performed as it should, and the reasons why it may not have performed as it should, we are not going to board this bus. Because this is a dangerous route, and this will be dangerous for the women of this country, and we will not allow it, Mr. Speaker. So I urge the members of this House, please don't use economic sense to make a decision on a matter so critical for the women of this country. And we keep asking this one question. How come when it comes to women, matters economics are brought forth, but when we are dealing with other issues, including wasting money on things like BBI, matters economic are never mentioned? So on this one, Mr.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya Warumi 8, bonyeza *811 *963#.
Nina hakika kwamba hakuna kinachoweza kukutenga na upendo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Si kifo, si malaika, si vitu tulivyokuwa